Hey GlamFam, Linwood here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the whole debate on EcoStyler and whether or not it's even worth canceling, as most of the YouTube community has been stating lately. There was a video about a year or so back. I honestly don't remember the name of the YouTuber. I do apologize, but I'll try to put it in the description box down below, where they had stated that they had stopped using EcoStyler because they had a negative reaction to it, saying that it caused their eyes to burn, so on and so forth. Recently, Bree Hall, who went ahead, she saw that video and it inspired her to go ahead and do her own video talking about how she had some of the same issues with the product. And then from there, it seemed like it caught on like wildfire, and so much of the YouTube community has been talking about canceling EcoStyler gel. I wasn't planning on making a video, but I did have a number of different people who are subscribers of mine ask me to weigh in on it and kind of give my input. So I'm going to be giving you some information, and then I'm going to give you a resource of another channel that can give you tons of chemical information on products that I feel will be greatly helpful to you, so stick around to the end for that as well. This is Allison's EcoStyler. I personally am not a fan of it in my hair. I don't like it, and I don't use it in the salon primarily because it doesn't give the same result on every head of hair, so I don't use it for that reason. Now, if you love it, by all means continue using it. That is up to you. I'm not here to tell you not to get this, because for some people they'll find they absolutely love it. There are a number of different gels from EcoStyler. I don't know why they need all 27 million gels that they produce, but there are a number of them, especially considering that a lot of them have similar or the same ingredients. For those of you who are concerned about some of the different ingredients in there, do know that they do have a couple of formulations that are absent of some of these ingredients. Now, just to give you a bit of understanding here, one of the ingredients that people were concerned about was triethanolamine. Triethanolamine is basically used to help monitor or stabilize the pH of a product. It gives it that more viscous or gelatinous feel that you see with gels. So that is what makes it more of that thicker consistency, rather than making it more like that snotty consistency that you see from like agave based natural gels or flaxseed based natural gels. Notice the key word there was natural gels. They have never presented themselves to be a natural product. It's just that the natural community has highly embraced them from jump. If you're worried about triethanolamine, then you've got to be concerned about my favorite gel, which is the Extreme by Wetline as well. Keep in mind that when you're looking at lesser priced gels, you're also going to be looking at certain ingredients in there that are going to be lesser quality ingredients. So if that's a concern of yours, that's something that you need to keep in mind. It's going to require more investment for you to get something that doesn't have product like that in it. Another one of the ingredients that they were concerned with was Tetrasodium EDTA. Now, EDTA, or Tetrasodium EDTA, is widely used to help prevent the buildup of different substances on the hair shaft. And you see it widely used in an array of different cleaners and things. It's often used to prevent or remove lime scale. You see it quite a bit used in clarifying shampoo to remove buildup. You see it used a lot in neutralizing shampoo to remove buildup in terms of the content of the relaxer, as well as to try to remove the calcium buildup if you're using a calcium hydroxide based relaxer, albeit it doesn't work very well in that instance, but that's for a whole separate video. One of the other things that people were concerned about was Polysorbate 20, and it's in a litany of other hair products. Polysorbate 20 is essentially used as an emulsifier. Now, what an emulsifier does is basically it helps to bind the product together so it doesn't separate, especially when you have formations where water is, say, the key ingredient, and then from there, as in this one, you go down and you're seeing things like olive oil in the mix. Now, all of us know that water and oil don't mix together, so you're gonna need an emulsifier to hold that whole formation together. When you see something like that, it's something that you have to understand that either you're not going to have an emulsifier, or you're going to have something where the oil rises up to the top and sits there. So it's something that you want to consider as well. The other thing that I heard that people were concerned about was fragrance, which fragrance is in so much of everything. It's in lotions, it's in toothpaste, it's in some of the food you eat. Like, do you honestly think that some of these different foods like Fruity Pebbles naturally smells that way? Let's be real here. And that kind of segues to my next point here, that if you're not someone who is living an all natural lifestyle or health conscious lifestyle in terms of the ingredients that you put in your body, then I honestly wouldn't give much merit to this, because to be quite honest with you, while absorption is one of the 7 primary functions of the skin, which for those of you who are wondering, it's sensation, hydration, absorption, let's see here, regulation, penetration, excretion, and retention of moisture are your 7 functions of the skin. Of course, absorption is one of those functions, and so of course you can absorb some of these chemicals if they're being placed on the skin. You don't absorb chemicals into the body through your hair though, so that's something to consider as well. But I will say, when you're placing things in the body that are toxic or are ingredients that you can't quite pronounce, unless you're not really an avid reader and you struggle pronouncing things in general, you know, it's kind of something that you want to keep in mind, because when it comes down to it, if you're gonna give merit to this whole debate, despite the fact that I'm really not a huge fan of EcoStyler, then you've got to give merit to it in terms of all of your products. And if you're not planning on switching your lotion, switching your toothpaste, switching your deodorant, you know, if you're not planning on eating more naturally, things like that, I don't know how much merit you would get to this. Now, that being said, if you have a negative reaction to any product, stop using it. If you find that it doesn't work well for your hair, that's totally fine. Someone else may love it. Put it in a product swap and allow them to use it, or you can repurpose it. And in some portion of life in this channel, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to repurpose some different products, because a lot of them have a lot of different uses or ways to fix some of the issues that you may have. But just to prove a point, I have a number of other gels here that I have with me. So of course the first one was this one here. Many of the same ingredients are in it as are in the EcoStyler, to include the fragrance, to include the triethanolamine, to include the Tetrasodium EDTA. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on in here. You've got things like Pro Style here. This is the classic Pro Style. This one here does not have most of those. It does have another list of ingredients in it. It does have fragrance. However, it's high in protein, so you can have issues with breakage and things like that of your hair over time if you're not making sure your moisture balance is where it needs to be. And because the coloration on this one is brown, when you scratch your hair, it's going to look like you've been digging in your booty later. So something to consider with that one. ProStyle does make another one though with argan oil in it that doesn't have that coloration. It actually does moisturize the hair rather well. However, this one has your triethanolamine as the second ingredient, so it's a higher concentration of it in that instance. It also has a number of other ingredients, to include your food colorings or colorings and your fragrance in here as well. You've got your Beautiful Textures gel here, which honestly works pretty nicely in terms of defining the curl like a flaxseed gel would, but then you've got to be concerned about the fact that this one flakes like nobody's business, which there's a way to fix. But something to consider as well. And I haven't even looked at the ingredients on this one, but hey, look, it's loaded with all sorts of stuff, to include urea, xanthan gum, propylene glycol, polyquaternium. I mean, there's a load of stuff in here that, you know, you might be concerned about if you're worried about chemicals in your products. You have your Got To Be glue, which is widely accepted in the natural community, and this one has perfume in it. It's got a couple of different things in here. So you've got your petroleum in here, which the natural community is against. You've got beeswax, which can leave buildup on the hair. So I mean, you've got a number of different things that you've got to worry about in that. You've got Shea Moisture's gels, which honestly I've always been rather satisfied with, and they're majority natural products. That's not a problem. I actually like these and I don't really have anything negative to say. Even their fragrances are essential oil blends, so if you're concerned with all natural type stuff, you could use these or Kinky Curly's Curling Custard. The only downside is you're not going to get the same degree of hold as you get out of some of these other gels, so that's something to consider as well. So what I'm telling you guys is, if you're using, I have a litany of products, you guys. I've got more gels than this, to be quite honest, but if you're using any product, measure it against the scale of common sense first and utilize it as needed for whatever your purpose is. But I will tell you, if you're concerned about putting toxic things on the body. I would rather you be more concerned about putting toxic things in the body, because as you've heard me discuss before, for all the people who ask me about my nails, ask me about my hair, and ask me about my skin, the primary thing that I tell you guys all the time is what you eat is what comes out. So if you're consuming a bunch of junk, junk comes out. That's why we have difficulty with having clear skin. That's why some of us have difficulty with hair growth, because we're not getting the nutrients and things that we need out of our food. That's why some of us are having issues with brittle nails, because we're not staying hydrated, we're not eating enough of our nutrients that we should be getting out of our food as well. So this is all stuff to consider, that if you're going to deal with beauty, you deal with it from a holistic approach and make sure that you're trying to make healthier life choices. Which, by the way, not even dealing with all this, how many of us are on medications, like especially heart medications and blood pressure medications, because we refuse to change our diet or adapt our lifestyle, whatever the case may be. You may have a genetic disorder or a condition, that's fine as well. But keep in mind that even those ingredients have non-natural chemicals in them that have other side effects that we knew about when we got into it and still chose to utilize the product. So saying all that just to say, take this EcoStyler thing with a grain of salt. If you like it, use it. If you're not having a negative response to it, use it. If it's something that is of genuine concern to you, go ahead and be concerned. If you wanted to go ahead and cancel it out, but I would highly encourage you, if you cancel this, to cancel several other non-natural ingredients in your foods, in your products, in your life, because when it comes down to it, these are things that you encounter on a regular basis. Like, it's crazy to me that fragrance is even in the list of things here that people are concerned about, especially people who are not living a natural or holistic lifestyle in general. So that's my take and my 2 cents on it. I told you guys at the beginning of the video that if you were looking for more information on a channel that would be able to give you even more in-depth information on products, that would give that to you. That channel name is Charmaine369. I recently discovered her channel and I absolutely love her content. She breaks down things from a chemist perspective in terms of what is in products, because she is a cosmetic chemist. Her spirit about her is wonderful. She seems very kind, very genuine, and I absolutely love that about her. So I'll be sure to put that in the end card. And until next time, you guys, take care. God bless. Stay glam. You know I love you, boo. And of course, all the details will be down in the description box down below. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.